Hello and welcome to another episode of Faithful to the Traitors. We are the podcast where we are discussing the second series of the American version of The Traitors. My name's Ben and I am, as I forever will be, 100% traitor. Faithful. I meant faithful. 100% faithful. Who doesn't do a slip up every now and then?
I mean, it happens more often than not on the Traitors, doesn't it? And as soon as it happens, you know you're in trouble. Only a small number of people have ever got themselves out of that hole.
That's correct, Alex.
Thank you, Ben. Hello, I'm Alex. I'm just giving an intro.
Okay.
You're allowed an intro. Why can't I give an intro?
Okay, go.
I'm Alex. Hi, I'm a faithful. There you go.
You're
Gotta help me.
bananas.
Well, I wish I was bananas. I wish I wasn't here right now. I feel picked upon like a piece of flesh.
Well, we did want to not mention utter Banana's name again, and we got our wish, which was nice. So we'll continue with that.
Well, the bananas. Sorry, I am listening. It's just thing popped up on my phone. Yes, bananas is gone, which you wanted to happen.
Okay.
I feel a bit bad, really. It feels like a weird decision. Of the three that they had to choose between, I was a bit surprised. But then after the episode kind of continued on, it made sense because now technically they've had two of the three rid of now. So one of them obviously got banished. One of them they murdered on this episode. Poor Bananas. CT is worried now because he's in a situation where he feels like because he was on the same show as Bananas that he's now in trouble.
It must be me.
Yeah, he's like,
next.
well, I must be in trouble now. So making it about him somehow, one way or the other. The Peaky Blinder that he is, he's made it all about him. He's going to start going around stabby and BTs of people like 1800s Victorian London.
That's right. We also had our new traitor recruited as well, but she didn't get to meet them until the end of the episode. But Parvati was joined, so that was unexpected. We weren't sure if it was going to be her, but she was there. She accepted. She was happy.
But yeah, again, it came as a bit of a surprise. Wearing another headband, so that's clearly a thing. She's wearing a black one this time with sparkles. Yeah, I mean, it is almost like a beacon, isn't it? It's like, I'm a traitor with my headband. Yeah, I'm presuming that every episode she's going to be wearing a new one. She's worn one every episode so far.
That's something that we can, of course, keep track on this podcast.
Yes, we can.
That's what you expect here on this podcast, stuff like that. So
nonsense like
we've had a white headband. Now a black
crown. It was a crown
headband.
Headband.
Now a black sparkly one.
Because I said she didn't deserve the crown just yet, but maybe she does now. She's a traitor. Yeah. Don't forget, you can get in touch with us if you have any ideas or comments or anything you want to muse about this year's American version of The Traitors. You can find us sending us an email by faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com. You can find us on X @Traitors Podcast or Instagram @faithfultothetraitors. Don't forget, if you're listening to us, thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe. You can also watch us by going to YouTube or Google and just search Faithful to the Traitors Podcast, where you'll find our video podcast. It's the same as the audio one, but with visuals. And on there, you can then subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up so you'll never miss an episode. And you can then comment underneath the video to let us know your thoughts and feelings as well. And of course, as well as sharing us with your friends, giving us good reviews, you can also share us or help us with the podcast by going to buymeacoffee.com/faithful and throwing us a silver coin our way to help fund this podcast as well, just like these people did.
Yes, we had Ellen, who sent us a silver bar / gold coin, conversion rate, who knows, saying, your podcast is part of watching The Traitors for me, so thank you. And Lau said, thank you for all the laugh, guys. So thank you very much for helping support us.
Yes, that's as we say.
For keeping the lights on.
Yeah, they're very bright as well, as you can tell by my bleached out skin. I'm not normally this, very white. You can see the veins in my skin protrude. It's probably my old skin because
just like
it's getting
John.
thinner like paper. Oh, John, he's a muse of his own, isn't he? This show has ruined my opinion of John. As a British person, as you may have noticed by the accent, we've got this. He had a bit of it when he left Parliament as Speaker of the House of Commons. He kind of left on a bit of a cloud because there's a few accusations that were being thrown out about him. But a lot of people kind of put it down to, well, that's just the Tories Torying, even though he's also a Tory. But, he kind of left on a pretty head up high situation-ish kind of sort of.
Yeah, when he left, people were like, that's a shame he's gone because he was a good Speaker of the House, and then he was replaced by someone who was a bit like...
They're not that bad. I mean, John used to kind of speak out and he used to give an opinion, and you're not meant to do that as a Speaker of the House, but he kind of got away with it because it kind of a lot of people agreed with what he was saying. But this isn't a Parliament show. Oh, no, we're talking about the Traitors now. And on the Traitors, he's kind of showing himself up as being actually... I said to you, he reminds me... which is not a good thing. He reminds me of like Boris Johnson light. He's like
bumbling idiot,
not answering questions, skirting around anyone who's kind
falling over in the mud,
making lies. Yeah, running. I mean, I admire his running. It was fantastic.
He fell over.
He looked like what's that film with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Terminator?
No, not Terminator, but
Kindergarten Kid.
Yes, Kindergarten Cop is the film I was thinking of. It reminded me of that. But he like. He's just lying as well. Like in the first episode when he was breathing heavily, because obviously he was nervous. So he should have just said, I was nervous. But he decided to come out with a lie of, oh, I have asthma. And now people are kind of pointing at him saying, oh, you said you had asthma. Tamra was pointing it out to him at the round table. And he was like, well, no, I don't remember saying that. And she's like, but you did say that. Well, no, I think I said something along the lines of that I find breathing difficult.
He did say, I've shown a bit of asthma or something like that. He didn't actually say he had.
Yes, but then she quite rightly then pointed out was like, well, if you have asthma, you have asthma. I don't think you lose having a respiratory illness. You know, you will always have asthma in one form or another. You know, and he was running around like there was nothing wrong with him, like running the task. He didn't have an inhaler, but then that was pointed out by someone who has got asthma but also didn't bring an inhaler with them. It was just like very odd. I know they seem to be kind of like pointing fingers at John, and I think John's taking the wrong response to it by, instead of gracefully taking it on his shoulders and saying, oh, okay, well, yes, I'm just a bit nervous. I'm amongst quite loud
It's the blindfold.
People.
Made him nervous.
Well, also, I would be nervous in a situation where I was surrounded by 20 Americans. Well, 19 Americans and Ekin-Su, because they are
especially Ekin-Su.
Well, especially her, because they are, they can be a bit more brash or a bit more loud or a bit more, common sense thrown out the window a little less, a little more. So I get that, and if John was more honest with that, I would have admired him more for being more honest toward the group, and I think the group would have been less accusational toward him. Luckily,
he just comes across as just questionable, doesn't he?
He's bumbling. He when they were going to bed as well, he walked off in the wrong direction. It's like, John, this way. He was like,
yeah, but that's because John forgot that in this show you sleep upstairs and don't go outside to go into your taxi.
That's true.
That's why was it? I think it was Kevin. Yeah, Kevin was like, John, we're upstairs. Remember, just for some balance. NHS website, everyone. In children,
God bless the NHS.
Asthma can sometimes go away or improve during teenage years, but then can come back in later life. So,
there you go.
John could have had it as a kid, had been a nice, healthy adult. Now he's old and on the Traitors. He's come back again.
Which is fine, but we all know John's lying.
No.
John didn't have asthma. He made it up thinking that was a good excuse. And basically, he's now dug himself into a hole, which he can't.
Yeah,
the only way he's get out of it is by telling the truth.
I feel he is next. But can I just also say how Tamara's way of deducting this was a bit questionable, because she questioned him about it on episode 1, and she was like, because I have asthma too.
Yeah.
Right. And then on episode 2, she was like, I'm going to test him. So she was like, I'm going to run really fast, and I'm going to ask him if he has an inhaler on him as this thing, because he said, no, I don't. And she said, well, that means he's lying, because anyone who has asthma always has an inhaler on them.
But Tamara didn't have an.
But Tamara didn't have one.
Yes.
She has asthma.
Yes.
So maybe she's a traitor.
Well, we know she's not.
No, I know, but that other deducting skills was not clever.
Yeah, but the difference was...
She thought she did something there and she didn't.
Yeah, but John declared that he had asthma. Tamara hasn't made it part of her personality.
No.
Do you see what I mean?
He only answered her one question, but he's not been going around saying...
Where he lied. He shouldn't have lied. The thing is with this game is you should only lie if you are a traitor. If you're not a traitor, don't lie, because it's not going to benefit you. You've got to be as straight as an arrow if you're faithful. You just have to be. So even if it looks bad on you, you just need to be straight with people. So John should have just said, "Oh yeah, I'm a bit nervous. This whole situation was very overwhelming. At this moment, when Alan was walking around touching shoulders, I got a bit excited and I, started breathing heavily. And I think the group would have been a much more understanding, because look at who was it who accused Oh, who was it who said that they heard fabric lifted up and so they tapped them on the shoulder?
That was Larsa said that about John.
Was it? No, it wasn't about John.
Who was? No, it was
Parvati.
Parvati.
Parvati,
Who's now actually a traitor.
Who's now a traitor. But that's kind of been forgotten because Parvati was just a bit like, no, that never happened. And then that was really the end of it. Yes, it got brought up in little bits there and there, but no one really cared. Because John kept spinning a lie, it made it worse for him.
And he was doing the political thing of not actually answering.
Yeah, he was skirting around the question.
That's the Boris Johnson, that bit.
Yeah, which is why he's Boris Mini Boris. He's Boris Soft Boris. Real Boris is never soft, as we know by his 20 million children. I know.
So we had Parvati recruited, Bananas... Parvati. That's what I said first time.
No, you said Parvati. You emphasised the wrong part.
I like Parvati.
I like to Parvati too.
I think seven of the,
Parvati, do we not?
7 contestants plus the host said her name different, so I'm just going to go with it.
You wrote the name really tiny as well on the board. MJ, wasn't it? She wrote John's name like teeny MJ.
Font size 5. So we are going to obviously go into a quick.
What's your name and where do you come from?
Fact file for them both. So new traitor, we have a legend of Survivor. She won Survivor and has competed well in 3 other seasons.
3 seasons
plus the one that she won.
Honestly, can someone tell me how can I get a career in just going on to the same reality show 4 times?
Well, just get on to one and then you'll keep going back.
She's gone on the same one.
Yeah, well, lots of them have done Big Brother 3 or 4 times. Next series of Traitors will be the same cast.
In the UK, very rarely would you find people do, like, I suppose they do those stupid ones like learn to bake with a baker.
Yeah, but not in America. You can kind of make a full-time job out of it, can't you?
Isn't it?
It's like going on game shows in America. You just keep going on different game shows.
A lot of people do that in the UK, to be fair. Like,
but they don't
Ollie
become
Murs.
famous.
Ollie Murs was on like 2 or 3 game shows.
That's right. Kerry from Big Brother.
Famously.
Paul from Traitors UK.
Paul from Traitors UK.
Yeah, see,
not a spoiler.
It's all going on. She's got a great mind for strategy. She can be ruthless and will likely observe and dominate, like the Traitors Series 1 blank. I'm not going to read the rest as a spoiler. Why is my fact file from NBC written a spoiler right at the end here? I was about to tell everyone who won Series 1.
Because NBC presume you've seen Series 1.
Well, presumption makes a fool of...
Assumption makes an ass of you and I.
That's right.
There you go.
Just like I just did. So right, Bananas then, our murder victim.
Bananas, Bananas. I can't believe I've not done that to this point. I bet everyone's done that in front of him.
The last time we have to say the word bananas. So
also, that picture of him on NBC.com, I don't know why I gave the full website. I feel like Alex Burke now. He looks like a magician, doesn't he?
Maybe that's his.
He looks like he's like, look into my eyes.
He is another... the Real World contestant.
Real World? No, that's old school.
What's that?
Real World was an MTV reality show from the 90s.
Someone else is on here.
They are arguably the very first reality TV show.
Is that what MT is from? What's his name? What's his name? Not MT.
CT. No, he's from The Challenge.
Yeah, but this is another Real World contestant who transitioned to competition show, The Challenge.
Well, we'll find out when we do their fact
when the time comes.
Because it's one of 2 now, CT or Trishelle. Comment below if you're watching us on YouTube and let us know. Do you think it's CT or do you think it's Trishelle? No prize for winning. He
is infamous as a contestant on The Challenge for causing fights, stealing other people's winnings. So put him in the chaos camp of contestants. That's why they got rid of him, because we don't really want you around.
Sounds like he doesn't sound like a fit for this show.
No.
Again, it's not about stealing from the people who you're on the same side of, which I'm sure he would have done at some point.
Probably tried to episode 1, didn't he? Just took little coins and he think it was funny. So yeah, may you rest in peace, Johnny Bananas.
Rubber Johnny.
So we had the mission then, which was a scarecrow.
I saw this mission before, I'm sure. Somewhere in the back of my mind reminds me of the UK series too. I feel like every mission is going to be the same, which is so disappointing.
I know, they did that last year too, didn't they?
I know, but they know now that people, like iPlayer, have already shown Series 1 of the American Traitors. They're showing the Australian, they're showing the New Zealand one. Don't forget you can listen to the podcast for each one of those as well, because we've already recorded them. Oh yeah. And it's like, come on, Peacock. Come on, Studio Larbert. We love you guys. We love you to bits. But just remember that this is now being shown internationally. It's not just an American audience that's watching it.
Well, why be the UK one you have to have a go at? Because the American one's filmed 2 weeks before.
Well, yes.
But then they air the UK one first, so
Just
they
change the
steal
challenges.
story.
I mean, the American one didn't have the sheep challenge in series 1.
For a reason.
I always pulled an earphone out my ear. Do not ever. The sheep challenge was for me one of the top 3 challenges of any Traitor series.
Well, that's why you don't work.
Amazing.
That's why you don't work for Studio Lambert.
You had to match the sheep with the actual contestant. What's not to love about that game?
Right, well, we're talking about scarecrows and questions here.
Well, they
For
did.
the American Series 2.
Well, they made an Alan Cumming scarecrow.
Mm-hmm.
They could have made the scarecrow. I'm sorry, I'm just getting wound up over sheep and scarecrows.
So all they had to do, they were in 3 lots of teams, and they just had to answer questions of a questionnaire that they filled in earlier. Like who's the most popular, who's trustworthy. What was the other question? Like who doesn't talk enough? Which was voted Dan was one who doesn't talk enough. So that was kind of a bit worrying for him, wasn't it?
And most trusted was Peppermint.
Peppermint was most popular. None of them believed that she would be. They were like, no.
Oh yeah, everyone
it's...
dumped Peppermint.
I think was it Deontay? I think they guessed, and it wasn't Deontay. I think one of the two. And but it was Peppermint. So they had to go back and forth, and they had to rip the holes and hearts out of the scarecrows, collect coins.
Yes, at the back row, again, slight change. In the UK version, they had 2 different coloured scarecrows. The yellow ones had the gold, and I think the blue ones at the back had the...
You're going to get a comment in a minute from someone.
This isn't a spoiler. It's the exact
but you don't
same
need to tell
game.
anyone. Just focus on America, please.
Okay,
We're in
so
America.
In America, they were told that the back 3 rows had the shield.
Yeah,
and
3 shields.
3 shields. And I thought I had fighting in my hand then. I just saw myself at the... and the front ones had the coins. And basically, I think it was like a 70-30 split. Most people went for the shields.
I think
Only one found one.
Yeah, Dan went
Dan.
because he wanted people to think he was a faithful, so he went for one. He got one.
And he didn't tell anyone either,
No.
which is interesting because Dan could use that for his advantage, as we may have seen in other series, but I don't know if they have.
Just
Not a
stop.
spoiler.
When you do this podcast,
Yes.
you need to pretend and imagine that this is the only Traitors you've ever
I've
seen.
not said the series nor who.
It's in its own
So I'm just saying
universe.
it could happen. This is in his universe, and I'm just surmising that could happen. John was looking for a shield, couldn't find one, but then to be fair, his rate of ripping over scarecrows was pretty much 1 per 2 minutes.
This worried me. Every time I was watching people rip open the things, I was thinking of myself doing it. And I kept imagining my fingernails being bent off and ripped off by doing it because they look really tight and don't worry.
It's only straw.
Yeah, but some of them were really like going, ripping in. I was just, made me go all funny watching it.
I'd be more upset
Bending
about the rash
fingernails.
that I would get from the hay.
The straw. Hay and straw is different.
Oh, is it? Why? Is one drier than the other?
Because one, you look for a needle in a haystack.
Not a straw stack. It's straw you give to rabbits. Hay.
For horses.
Yeah. Horses for courses.
Bergie was just wondering, haven't mentioned Bergie, he didn't really do anything, but I just wished to mention him. He was a bit red-faced around the round table. He was a bit
up,
shocked,
Bergie?
upset.
What's up, Berg?
He's not coping, but we love him
He
still.
did get voted the quietest, though, which just surprised
that's
me.
true.
Maybe he was so quiet, everyone forgot he existed.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Bergie because I feel like he literally just looks like someone who got dropped in and doesn't really understand
He's
how any of
he's
his work.
my winner. I don't care what happens going forward. I've called it in episode 2, he's my winner.
He's either going to have a really... I don't think he's ever going to get murdered because there's no point murdering him. The traitors know better than to get rid of someone so obviously pointless. It's not pointless. That's a mean thing to say. But what I'm trying to
Sweet.
say is that, yes, sweet. Bergie is either going to make it to the end and somehow win in some kind of weird, like,
Fingers crossed.
way, or...
Bergie and Ekin-Su, Love Island at the end, and then they can
That's how it
pretend to
should
be.
be.
They can pretend to be.
And then they'll couple up, yeah, and then they'll do an all-stars version of...
I did get a notification on Twitter the other day saying that Ekin-Su was broken up with whoever she was with on Love Island.
Oh, no.
So maybe they're doing that early to get in the Bergie.
What do you think? She broke up before she did the Traitors US, and so she could get together with Bergie. Although there's no
Maybe.
love match between them right now. Ekin-Su and Bergie
Yeah,
seem
but
to be.
that fire bit at the end, you just don't know what's going to happen. I
give my heart to Bergie.
I do.
I do.
Right. So yeah. Then,
Well, can I just say, Bergie is either going to go to the end, or he's going to have a really, 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 really horrible banishment where they're just going to gang up on him.
probably from Tamara.
Or Ekin-Su.
She's mean. Tamara just will go into
I don't think
face.
Tamara's mean at all.
To the boys, she's mean. She's
No, I
upfront.
disagree. I think she made very valid points about John around the round table. I think what she was saying about John was completely valid. She said that he's basically avoiding questions, telling lies, and is acting like a politician, which is exactly what he's doing.
Okay. Right, so how much did they win?
Oh, sorry.
It
Hello.
was
They
like-
won $16,000.
Yes.
So that brings their total pot, which means, by the way, means nothing, because at the end of the series, they'll just say, if you do this final challenge, we'll give you the $250,000 anyway. So this kind of like, oh, is it money or shield you're going to go for? Means nothing.
Go for a
because-
shield, basically.
Just go for the shield, because American traitors just give you the money at the end anyway. But right now, peril is $46,000.
Can I just say as well, which has nothing to do with anything, but I'm just
Yeah.
going to say it. Max's profile picture of his like official
Maxim.
photo, people are calling him Max.
Okay, I'll call him Max then. Max.
Tamara was calling him Max.
Good. Max.
Or Mark. No, Max. They were
Mark.
saying Max. Even the thing about anyway, his profile picture really does him dirty because when I saw him on the show on episode 2, I was like, who is that? I thought it was CT with his hat off.
Yes.
I was like, who is this? He looked rough and
But they
ready
don't
and
look the
hot.
same.
No, they don't. But I was like, who is that man? And it's him. So this profile picture is doing him dirty,
Well,
everyone.
In Dan's profile picture, as I said just before we started recording, since we're talking about what they look like in their profile picture,
Only the
Dan-
men, though.
Dan looks like Anthony McPartland.
Yes, he does.
Any American watchers or listeners, please Google that person. because
Looks
you
a
have
little
no idea
bit-
who we're talking about.
Looks a little bit like the guy who makes Family Guy as well. isn't
Seth
it? But-
MacFarlane.
Similar name.
A
that you
little
just
bit.
said.
Yes.
Anne McFarlane or Steph McFarlane.
Maybe they are related, Seth and
Maybe they're all one big family.
we are. Maxim. Maxim is the only one I know from the whole show, so that's why every time when you were saying like, who's that? I was like, that's Maxim. He's the only one I know from the show.
I love his
Well,
pink
John.
suit. His dusty pink suit.
He's
Love it.
lovely. I love him to
Yeah,
bits.
he seems to be doing a good game. He didn't want to go with the majority, so we can talk about the round table now a bit more.
We will, yes.
The whole thing with Trishelle and Peppermint was going off this episode, where Trishelle's joke the night before didn't land about outfits, and
Well,
then
she made another joke as well at the round table.
and then she thinks that Peppermint's reaction meant that Peppermint was a traitor. Traitor, not traitor. Peppermint
Ben's a traitor,
accidentally
everyone.
said traitor. Like I just see how easy that is. God, I know how Peppermint feels.
That's why you've not applied for Series 3 in
Yeah.
the UK.
She was trying to explain herself in the kitchen and then accidentally said she was a traitor in front of a few people.
Yep.
Which I just did. And pretty much the round table was kind of, it was that. It was either John, possibly,
Yeah.
but mainly Peppermint. But a few of them didn't want to go with the crowd, did they? We had Cherie and Max. Both didn't
Went
want to
for
go
John.
for Peppermint because they didn't want to, there's no evidence.
But I mean, there's no evidence on any of them either. Even John, this is the one true thing John said around the round table. He said we're kind of just working on conspiracies, but the strongest. He should have said, and the conspiracies are either me or Peppermint, so I voted Peppermint. Instead, he said, and the strongest conspiracy for me, that's John, is Peppermint.
Mm.
I felt bad for Peppermint because like you said, it was just
Yeah, she couldn't.
It was a tangled web for her, and it was a bit. She was on a losing streak from the beginning, and even the way she kind of approached it at the breakfast table when, I think Marcus brought it up. Marcus kind of said, "Right, Peppermint, just want to clear the air between you and Trishelle. What exactly did you say to each other?" And was it Trishelle or Janelle? It was Trishelle, wasn't it?
Trishelle, yes.
And Peppermint kind of went, "What, really?" And then kind of went over there and said, "If I'm going to be anything, I'm not a traitor." And it was really kind of almost attacking Trishelle. And I think she went around the wrong way. I think
That was very American reality TV though. So I stuff like that I do, because this is the American version. You do have to kind of look at these interactions because a lot of them are doing
See it
things
with
for
pitch
sound
salt.
bites, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I think bananas.
Your soundboard at all? Yeah.
No, I'm too much into the analysis. I'm afraid.
Okay, fair dues.
Bananas did like a random thing on episode 1 where he stood up and pointed and said, "So you're a traitor," and it's like he obviously did that because he thought that's going to be clipped in the sound
Yeah,
bite.
that'll get put
So
in the show. Yeah,
a
fair,
lot of
fair.
these things you do have to kind of always think that in the back of your mind on this series, I think, because they're all there to get their sound bites.
Well, yeah, they're all there. I'd be interested to know if they're actually. I'm presuming this, but I'm wondering if they paid beforehand and then the prize money is an additional pay.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
if that's the case, then
Fedra would not be there if she wasn't being paid. I
well, if that's the case, I feel like that they should all give their winnings to charity.
Maybe some will.
That's just me. Maybe, but I doubt it. So yes,
I don't know. Some people like Survivor, Challenge, Love Island. Like, do you know what I mean? They're not exactly going to be like rolling in winnings.
Well, when you're a Survivor, you win $1 million.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, some of these have won it twice. Okay, fine.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
all of them badly.
All of them should donate.
Sandra must be if she's won Survivor twice, she must be a multi-millionaire. I mean, does she need that?
There's a lot of tax, though.
That's true. Americans do tax a lot. That's mad, isn't it?
If Ekin-Su won, or John, would they get the full money and not have it taxed because they're in England? Because we don't pay
because it
tax
was
on
won
our
in
winning.
England as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the UK, you don't get, if you win a competition, it's tax-free. In America, you get taxed on your winnings.
It's like 40-50% as well, isn't it?
It's funny. So in the UK, the prize money is $250,000. In America, it's 160.
So we did lose Peppermint to a majority vote. Was it 17 votes? I think?
17 for Peppermint,
Yeah.
2 for John, and interestingly, Trishelle got 1 vote from Peppermint. Peppermint, I did exactly what I always say. If you know you're going down, take
someone
people
out.
down with you. And that's what she did.
I
She
do
took
feel
Trishelle
like,
down with her.
Trishelle said she's going to feel guilty, and she did have a cry. Deontay also had a cry afterwards because he felt guilty. But I do wonder if this is now people going to be going after Trishelle for this.
I think Trishelle is now as a
Yeah.
target. But I don't think that's going to put aside John just yet. I think John still is on view, and he needs to find a way to get out of that view.
I think most of them want to get rid of John anyway because he's not very good at challenges either. So I just feel like...
Did you
people
not see
don't-
lovely John running around that path and falling over?
Did you not see him fall into mud and then he had to spit all the mud out? Did you see that? It looked like a lot of mud in his
I
mouth.
want John to survive till the very end.
Survivor. Right, so we have to do a quick
What's your name and where do you come from?
for Peppermint. She is gone. So
Would you like a peppermint? I would like a peppermint. That's all right with me. I'm just filling time while Ben tries to find
What?
something.
It's not
on the
coming up. Right,
website.
here
There
we
it is,
are.
right there.
Peppermint.
Goodness me.
She was the runner-up on season 9 of RuPaul's Drag Race. She went against the one who lifted the wig up and all the petals came out.
Oh, I love that. That's the last series we watched, I think,
Yeah.
the American one.
So there you go.
That's
Peppermint.
that's when they moved off of Netflix and went to their own.
Stupid thing. Peppermint is a singer and performer. She is a fabulous personality.
So
It's not very, not very biased, this article, which will stir it up amongst the contestants. But will she be able to run under the radar if needed? No, she wouldn't.
No, because she's out.
Which is a shame. I like Peppermint. She was fun.
I like Peppermint, but I don't think
the rules of the game.
I don't think she added much to the contribution toward it because Peppermint.
Outfits.
Well, obviously killing it with outfits.
Trichelle's got that, hasn't she? So
Her hats, every again hat. Parvati's headbands, Trichelle's hats.
TT's hat, single.
Yes, Peaky
is my
Blinders, and Marcus's glasses. Can I just say already that I normally takes me time to warm to people on Traitors, but Phaedra, absolutely love her.
Yeah, I
Really
said,
do.
Yeah, I said
And
that.
Dan,
Yeah.
I like the Traitors. It's come to something that I'm actually on the side of the Traitors at the moment, which is interesting.
I mean, even though we know we're kind of anti-celebrity contestants, but even though they are celebrity, it's not as bad as I was thinking it was going to be.
I agree.
So far,
I
so,
agree.
but we'll see how horrible it gets. But it didn't really end with much because the Traitors were introduced to Parvati, wasn't it? And then the
Parvati.
hoods came off, and then that was it. So we don't know who's up for murder or
No.
what their plan is.
One interesting thing I would say about the Traitors is that Dan feels as though there's always one who feels like they're like the head of the Traitors. That's right. And Dan feels like he's noticed that he is the stronger influence.
Although I think Marcus and Max were both kind of questioning Dan being so quiet, and he was like, people around the round tables who don't talk
I did, right?
are wanting like Peppermint to go because it's not a traitor, so they were happy for it to just happen.
That's
So-
right. They said that to Dan. They didn't directly point the finger at Dan, but yes, you're absolutely right. They said that it was interesting looking at the people who were quiet around the round table to that
and allowing the wrong thing to happen, maybe
on purpose because they knew that they were faithful. So that was, and
Watch out, Marcus.
Marcus. Well, yes, you might get murdered now, but Marcus, I tell you what, that's an observation I don't think a lot of people have ever had on the Traitors, spotting something like that. So good for you, mate.
Yeah.
Good for you. I hope you do stay in and start doing a few investigations toward that direction, that line of inquiry.
Well, there you go then. So that's us done for this episode. Lots
Another
going
episode
on.
down,
Episode
yes.
3 next. So how can people get in touch with us if they want to give their opinion on what we've said about these guys?
faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com. If you want to send us a long form email, you can go to X at Traitors to the Podcast. X.
Twitter, no one calls it X.
You can go to Instagram at Faithful to the Traitors. Don't forget you can listen to us on any of your favourite podcast apps. Don't forget to subscribe. If you enjoy listening to the podcast, also please give us 5 stars and give us a comment why you think we deserve those 5 stars. It helps us grow. Tell your friends on your social medias that we exist. And also you can go to YouTube or Google search us Faithful to the Traitors Podcast and you'll find our video. Subscribe, ring the bell, click for notifications, and you'll never miss a future episode of any version of an English-speaking. We're not doing any other, just the English-speaking one.
No, people have said, do the French one, do this French one, do the Spanish one. It's like, no, I can't look at subtitles of 21 people ran around. It's not going to happen.
That's going to be a tough one. We might do one day, maybe.
No.
Who knows? Or we could just be not like a typical British person and actually learn
Spanish and French.
Yeah, Duolingo. If Duolingo want to sponsor us, we will do that. Duolingo with every
All you learn is how to step on a bus.
Yeah.
Duolingo or buy Red Apple.
Then you could translate bus into push under the bus, and then that can be used for the traitors.
Yes, well.
There you go. You can, have I done YouTube? Yeah, go to YouTube. Yeah. Comment below if you're watching the video. And you can also help us grow by throwing us a few gold bars or silver coins our way by going to buymeacoffee.com/faithful.
Lovely. So we'll see you for episode 3 coming up right after this one. So remember to stay faithful.
Bye-bye.